Good day to everyone. This is Malu Tolentino from BE Ed 2D, and I will be reporting Rosalind Coward and John Ellis essay. So, essay was published in 1970 and written by Roland Barthes, a French philosopher and writer. Barthes dabbled in quite a few schools of theory and made significant contribution to quite a few, including semiotics, social theory, anthropology, and in this work, especially structuralism. So, by the way, structuralism, as, as its name suggests, that there is always a larger realm or reason that can be explained. So, the more complex examples of human phenomena. Also, structuralism can be applied to almost any field that is related to humans. And so Barthes used structuralism as well as post-structuralism as a lens through which he analyzed in essay. Essay aims to demonstrate how language produces the realist text as natural. It examines not the structure of the text but its structuration. The text is seen as a productivity of meaning which is carried on within a certain regime of sense realism. So, first, realism stresses the product and not the production. So, it does not matter where, whom, or for what purpose it was intended. So, what we value is its true to life, the accuracy of its visions. So, that's it. That is realism. Next. To understand essay as anything other than a superior formal method, it is necessary to understand what linguistic and ideological practices produces these various kinds of texts. We must first understand the relation between realism and the plurality of language. So these categories differ from each other in the significant way. So the degree of plurality of the possible meaning is referred as a plural. Any given text can be found to possess. In principle, writerly texts have an infinite plural, while readerly texts have a finite plural. It is difference in plural that forms the basis of Barth's theory of how to evaluate a text, which in turn supports his reading systems. So that's the plurality of language for Barth. So language is treated as thought it stands in for, is identical with the real world. The business of realist writing is, according to its philosophy, to be the equivalent of reality, to imitate it. The identity between signifier and signified, which is established in realist writing, is a precondition of its ability to represent a vraisemblable and accepted natural view of the world. So, signifier and signified. So, Barthes deviates from Saussure's idea that the relation between the signifier and the signified is arbitrary. So, and he argues that the connection between the two is the process that gets naturalized over a period of time. So Barthes sees five forms of connotation, five codes that organize the intelligibility of Saracen. So first is hermeneutic code, which informs the reader's interpretations and possess questions which provide narrative suspense. So hermeneutic code, which means something like exploring the meaning of the plot. So the code is Bart's way of identifying the plot progression. So the negative space of the plot called suspense, which is curated by the author when the author withholds valuable information until timely moments. So this creates a series of things that the reader will imagine in expectation. So next is the proeretic code, the code of action, which is the most indicative aspects of a narrative and refers to the sequence in which the events of a story unfold, which is most often a temporal sequence. So Barthes explores what he calls the erectic code, which refers to a scene's particular rhythms and the logical unfolding of moments, scenes, prose, and literary devices. Barth says these rhythms are built into the author and the author is submitting to them. Then, Barth explored two kinds of codes that he calls semic and symbolic. So, let's just proceed to semic code first. So, semic code, the code of signifiers, or the connotation code, which, like the cultural code, draws upon a commonly set of stereotypes that are self-descriptive and self-evident. So, a semicode is a signifier or noun which refers the reader to imagine an object that will continue existing hypothetically in their mind as they read. So that's the semic code. So the symbolic code which is similar to the semicode but extends beyond the immediate icon or stereotype to refer to something larger. It consists of contrast and pairings related to the most basic binary polarities, male, female, day, night, good, evil, and so on. So that is the symbolic code. So um, also, symbolic code is related to the attachment of meaning unto those fields of reference. So that's symbolic code, the difference between semic code and symbolic code. So for the last is the cultural code, reference code, which the narrative assumes that all the readers share and includes those elements of common knowledge that the readers share as a community and do not require glossary. So Barthes reaches the cultural code, which is the paratextual involvement of the reader's own cultural assumptions. So due to the process of science and due to the progress of commonly held beliefs. So that's why it is called a cultural code. So okay. So that's it. Thank you for listening.